The term sub-boss or mini-boss might not have the same connotations as a Shao Kahn, Ganon, or Year of Our Lord 2020, but it's often because of this unassuming nature that they're able to rip you clean in half. Putting a ton of coding power into a mini-boss restores the element of surprise. It means developers get to truly shock you into action halfway through a level when you're now face to face with something out of nowhere that can suddenly go toe to toe. Done well, these become some of the most talked about parts of any title. Often a great sub-boss is a recurring enemy who dogs you throughout the story, getting more ruthless and powerful with each duel. Other times, they're the player's evil doppelganger, or just some terrifying mound of limbs and intent that you now have to deal with. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 video game sub-bosses who destroyed players. Number 10, GORO, Mortal Kombat series. Shang Tsung tends to be the ultimate big bad in Mortal Kombat, but ask anyone who regularly plays the games, and it's his underling GORO that routinely pounds us into the ground instead. Where Tsung can steal your powers and appearance, becoming the Mortal Kombat equivalent of a school bully yelling "stop hitting yourself," underling GORO will give you a pasting thanks to tons of invincibility frames, alongside a move where he just leaps off the screen altogether. This latter animation always seems to track you, even across multiple games, making GORO a level of straight up infuriation that was hard to top for many years. I say many years because MK9 brought about the cheapest and most disgustingly annoying version of Shao Kahn we'd ever seen, but you'd still only face him if you could survive GORO. That walking 4-hit punch combo thing, which he just does over and over and over, I have to imagine this was our punishment for not embracing the creative fatality system. Number 9, Metal Sonic / METALLIX / Mecha Sonic, Sonic the Hedgehog series. Yes, I know these aren't all the same robot, but we can address all of them at once, because each of these robotic versions of Sonic deserves their place in a list like this. Mecha Sonic, for example, shows up as a mini-boss before Dr. Robotnik's Egg Gundam thing in Sonic 2, and is no pushover. With no rings to save you and a single hit from his buzzsaw being an instant kill, Robotnik's various fake-outs and feint animations were a nightmare to deal with. Dr. Robotnik would update this design and create Metal Sonic, an equally tricky foe who showed up in Sonic CD for a death race in the Stardust Speedway Zone. At least this time it was bearable thanks to a super catchy 90s dance tune. Seriously, the levels of pure funk on this thing give me immortal life. Number 8, ONIKAGE, the TENCHU series. Looking like the frontman to a mid-2000s nu metal group, ONIKAGE is one of TENCHU's longest-serving bad guys. And writing this script made me Google and realize that POD are still a thing in the modern day. So enjoy that fact. ONIKAGE, though, is a great bad guy because he's persistent, relentless, and has a personal grudge with hero Rikimaru, alongside the fact that he's immortal. Yet, despite his flamboyant cockiness, ONIKAGE can back it up with some brutal moves. A flurry of kicks will make mincemeat of your health bar, and his signature scissor kick takes off about half in one shot. Get him on low enough health and he'll just chug a health potion to keep going. Side note while we're on, is there anything more annoying than a boss who heals themselves? Number 7, Star Wolf, Star Fox 64 / LYLAT Wars. You'd think that being an enormous disembodied space ape head with floating Smash Brothers hands would be peak level intimidation, but Andross isn't the most dangerous foe you'll face in Star Fox. That rosette goes to Star Wolf, a persistent force of evil and thorn in the side of the Star Fox crew. Star Wolf's team fly Wolfen ships, which are regarded as equal to Star Fox's R-Wings in speed, maneuverability, and durability. All 4 members, Wolf, Pigman, Leon, and Andrew, will frequently pop up to scrap with Star Fox at the most inopportune moments. After a few defeats, they disappear seemingly for good, but return as the final vanguard for Andross's fortress, flying Wolfen 2s. These upgraded ships are capable of shredding an R-Wing like Jules's urine through Josh Brown's slushy. Number 6, U3, Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is absolutely loaded with sub-bosses who end up being scarier to fight than the actual big bad. Even the game's marketing hung itself on a sack-headed chainsaw man, and I'd argue he's still more iconic and memorable than the literal final boss. Pretty much everyone beats the morphed version of Sadler as being a more formidable foe. Salvador is a persistent and terrifying presence right from the start, and El Gigante was one of the biggest enemies we'd ever fought in Resident Evil to date. However, U3, not to be confused with U1, the equally disturbing hero of Gitaru Man, is a real horror to look at, and way more harrowing to fight. In a labyrinth of cages, players must guide Leon through without getting trapped, and getting cornered is almost certainly a death sentence, all while plugging this gross creature with everything you've got. Annoyingly though, at this point in the game, you probably didn't have enough ammunition to put U3 down, making it feel like you're taking on the human centipede with a carrot peeler. Number 5. HAVEL the Rock. Dark Souls. Though Dark Souls is full of unforgiving bosses who love a good one-hit kill, it's also home to a few sub-bosses and regular enemies who are more than willing to pin you up against the wall and twist your nipples until you turn inside out. Yes, I know Londo's bow snipers are cheap and nasty, Blighttown's blow dart guys suck, and whoever just one-shotted you from off-screen is immediately at the top of the F this list, but it's HAVEL that takes the cake as completely inverting expectations. At least for me. I took one look at this guy and thought, he'll be too slow, I'll just turtle around and do some backstabs. That huge mallet thing will be so easy to dodge. Next thing, I'd been turned into a fine smush on the floor, lost all of my souls, and I was kicked back to the last checkpoint, which was about 20 minutes ago. It's always in these exact moments that I love and hate Dark Souls in equal measure. Number 4. White/Golden LYNELS. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Zelda games, though not necessarily very difficult, have a storied past full of sub and mid bosses trickier than the end of dungeon fights or even final bosses that you've been working towards. Breath of the Wild held up its end of the bargain with Thunderblight Ganon stun-locking you into oblivion, but none embody this more than white or gold flavors of Lynel. These lion centaurs with huge clubs, explosive arrows, and what feels like infinite health points, like nothing more than chilling around on luscious grassy fields, only to come at you like hell itself. In a game where side missions include things like defeat all bokoblins or clear out an area of all monsters, the fact that there's a whole mission devoted to going into a Lynel's lair and just avoiding fighting it should be a good indicator that this thing is gonna hit like a truck. Number 3. OGGDO BOGDO. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Yes, you down in the comments, you did it first time. It wasn't really that bad for you. Look, Ewan, I sit next to you. I've heard it 1,000 times. OGGDO BOGDO, though, is a big ol' penis. He's infinitely stronger than the other creatures on Bogano and will kill you in 1 or 2 hits. His collision detection model is all over the place. You can die to him charging away from you, and Fallen Order loves to prioritize animation over responsiveness, leading to scores of "I hit the button, oh god, I hit the button" reactions when you die. It's unsurprising that for the first week or so after Jedi Fallen Order was released, some players called for this thing to be nerfed. In the early portion of the game, you simply will not come across anything nearly as dangerous or cheap as OGGDO BOGDO. Finally running him through with a lightsaber was like kissing the sky. Number 2. 7 ASHINA Spears. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. If there's one defining conversation for gaming across the 2010s, it's that From Software games are actually really easy. They're not, clearly, hence their reputation. When it came to Sekiro, it felt like we finally hit our limit on pop culture masochism. Shadows Die Twice is a phenomenally tight game, but so many people just got sick of dying over and over to trial and error game design that everybody has their own personal sub-boss nemesis. As an example, let's talk about 7 ASHINA Spears. Specifically towards the end of the game where the castle is ablaze, ASHINA Spears can be found outside alongside another enemy to fight. As if dueling him alone wasn't tricky enough, trying to parry so many rapid stabs and swings whilst another foe jabs at your kidneys from off screen is next level aggravating. Even attempting to cheese this guy with pitfalls or patches of fire sees him teleport back to his original spawn point, ready to keep fighting. Hopefully you're all ready to do this again with Elden Ring. Number 1. Boost Guardian. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. If you look up absurd difficulty spike in the encyclopedia of good game flow, the Boost Guardian is king, queen, and all subjects in one. The single most outrageous example of how to make your players swear and break stuff you're likely to find applied to a mini-boss. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is already quite a tricky game in general. Taking a very trial-by-fire approach to most of its encounters, some early fights in particular will rip your health bar apart without any remorse. As Samus searches another dimension to regain some lost abilities absorbed by dark world creatures called the Ing, she gets several tastes of her own medicine as they use all of those signature abilities against her. The infamous Boost Guardian has absorbed her Boost Ball ability, and must be fought as it zips around the arena doing enormous damage to anything it collides with. At one point, Samus can only hurt it by using Morph Ball bombs, but without the boost yourself, catching up to this lightning-fast creature is much easier said than done. Whenever we talk about games being difficult in a cheap early 2000s kind of way, it's right here. And those are my picks for video game sub-bosses that totally destroyed players. Let me know your favorites down in the comments below, and please check out the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com, and I'll catch you soon.